Dan Hurley, the coach of the former back-to-back national champions. I know he doesn't like having former in there. He probably wishes he was coming off the back-to-back-to-back national champions. Knowing Dan Hurley, had some comments about his schedule this year, right? And he says that he scheduled Michigan State exhibition because we were not ready for Maui last year, and it showed. Now, Riley, if you can recall, Maui, both our teams were in the tournament, so we were very much locked into that. UConn had a disaster of a Maui
Mhm.
tournament. They lost every single game there. They left the island winless. Dan Hurley was making a scene in Hawaii shirts. It was quite the, for lack of a better term, excuse my language, shit show for UConn in there, and kind of became an indication of how the season would eventually go for them. Being, I think it was an 8 or a 9 seed, losing in the second round in a really close game, I might say. But Dan Hurley, like I said that he scheduled the Michigan State exhibition because they weren't ready for Maui, and it showed last year. Do you think he's on par with that? What do you take from that? And I don't know, is there anything deeper to look into this and him saying that we weren't ready for Maui last year it showed? Because to me, the part that says that he wasn't ready for Maui last year was the roster. The roster was the first thing that needed to be fixed. Like, with all due respect to guys who had won national championships and played a part in Hassan Diarra and Samson Johnson, that's the reason that you weren't ready, because your roster wasn't ready. But I guess, what do you take from these quotes from Dan Hurley?
See, I actually would give credence to it because their schedule stank. Stunk? Stinked?
Both, both.
What is the past form of stink? Stink?
It
Stunk.
stunk.
They stunk it up.
It
Okay,
stunk.
man, I just had a complete brain fart there, no pun intended. Their schedule stunk.
Bars.
They played Sacred Heart, New Hampshire, Lemoyne, like second year Division One program Lemoyne. And I am not Tanner McGrath, so I can't tell you anything about Lemoyne. Like other than they're the Dolphins, I know that much. Like they were playing that was who, and then they played East Texas A&M leading into Maui. That schedule is embarrassing. And you said it with the roster that like the talent level wasn't there. They still had enough talent to beat Colorado and Dayton. They got ran out of the gym by Dayton that last day, which maybe you attribute that to just the psyche of getting worn down the first two games and coming to grips pretty clearly with what the outside hearing the outside noise and even just probably realizing you're underachieving and looking at their schedule this time around. I mean, they open up with UMass Lowell, then play Columbia before BYU and Arizona. But I think it's a smart idea to play Michigan State because, even if this Michigan State roster has some question marks, lacks some of the typical talent that we're used to seeing in East Lansing, that Tom Izzo's still the coach and he's going to treat this like a regular season game. They're going to play really hard. They're going to play good defense. And they have a couple breakout candidates who probably realize at the stage that they're on, even in an exhibition, to make a statement against UConn. So I love the move.
Dion, how's your job going?
Beginning of the school year, everything's like a little up and down. One of the biggest issues we've had is we can't find any uniforms for our girls' sports teams.
Mm, that's a difficult thing to find a solution for. I know damn well all about that because I got a daughter that just turned 2. She's into sports and she's already outgrowing every little piece of sports apparel she had. Thankfully, I know Clara Kate Creations. Clara Kate Creations was started by a former high school teacher who quit because it wasn't cost effective to send new twins and a 2-year-old to daycare. She found it easier to make girls' sports apparel than finding it to buy. And I am so thankful that she exists because if we have an old shirt of Murph's that she's outgrown, we can send it in and she takes that piece of apparel that means something and upcycles it into an outfit that Murphy can now wear as she grows up. She makes great stuff. It's honestly kind of like your fullback's wife, Kyle Juszczyk. Is that how you say it? She does that. But honestly, I think Clara Kate's coming for Mrs. Juszczyk's job.
I love that. I'm a big Juice guy, love his wife, love Claire Kate even more than both of them, though.
You can send in your own custom ideas and she will come up with a design. She's just the best. Look up Clara Kate Creations on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and more.
Yeah, and look, I think that, anytime you can get these exhibition games against good teams, I think you should take advantage of it, right? Like, even whether it's a real exhibition, a charity I mean, not real exhibition, whether it's an exhibition for charity, an exhibition just to, get your team involved in some really good games early on. I mean, to your point, I didn't even realize that that was their non-conference. to start the year last year. I do, look, I think you need that bye games, right? You want to get some wins against the little nobodies, but also like there's a certain standard you should be held to in testing yourself. And I think that no one wanted to say it last year because you respect the back-to-back national champs. Like what Conor McGregor say, the double champ does what the F he wants, basically.
Mhm.
But that was an embarrassing schedule for a team of that caliber. And also like you look at obviously they lost games. They also weren't tested in Maui. Like who they lose to? They lost to Dayton, lost to
They lost to
Colorado, right?
Colorado and they lost to Memphis.
Like ew,
Yeah,
ew.
gross.
That's
Gross.
gross. So look,
Rem-
oh go ahead.
PJ Haggerty, I just remember watching that Memphis game, and PJ Haggerty, every time he saw Aiden Mahaney on him, was like, "Food. It's
Boo.
it's it's lunchtime. It
Yeah,
is
he looked at her.
lunchtime."
He looked at Hurley and said, "Please get this gentleman off me. Send him to UC Santa Barbara. This ain't for him. This ain't what he wants." But yeah, I do think that Dan Hurley realizes that he does need to test his team, and I think it's a good test too because Michigan State, say what you want, I do think UConn has a better roster than Michigan State, but Tom Izzo is one of the better coaches in the sport, and also just stylistically, they're gonna want to fight you, right? It's
Mhm.
gonna be a tough game. It's gonna be a game I think you'll play a tournament level team in an exhibition setting. You can feel good about your roster. You can try some things out. I love this. The only thing I would wish that would change for it, I wish it wasn't an exhibition. I wish it was the real deal spill. Because
I
like, what is
agree.
the rest of UConn? They have some actual tough non-conference early, don't they?
Yeah, BYU and Arizona, those are the big two.
There we
So
go. That
yeah.
now that's what you do. That's what you do, regardless of your roster. By the way, Mr. Hurley, you have a standard to be held up against too. You gotta do this. I guess
Can,
no, go ahead, Riley.
I was gonna say, can I give your team a shout out here? Because
You never have to ask to give my team a shout out, please.
when I first read this headline, I was like, are we sure Michigan State gets you that ready for the season with the talent level they're bringing in? However, Michigan State socials team, they have been on one. And I think they're doing a great job of hitting like all the classic Izzo talking points with this team, with the grit, with the hard work. You got Izzo in a puffer vest, which I
Yeah,
love.
yeah, we got Izzo on a puffer and stating that he's never looked younger and he lost weight.
I
Like
love that,
my
man.
dog won the Big Ten by 3 games and got to be a coach for Jace Richardson, and it brought him back to life.
And this was so he had the puffer on in their like first day of practice edit. Then they posted one yesterday that was just a Fears drive and kick out to Cohen Carr for three. Carr flexes afterwards. It looks like that dude was already built. It looks like he's been in the weight room even more, and he has a hoodie on underneath his jersey
Yeah,
as he is hitting a three. To where I'm like, okay, I see Dion's vision with saying this kid is a lottery pick.
and, and he's number 55.
Yeah, everything about the aesthetic is like the two breakout guys. Like I see what y'all are doing, Michigan State. You are highlighting the two breakout candidates and saying we're good. I know there's some frustrations with like Izzo doing things his way and not really playing the portal game, but we're good.
Yeah,
So
the worst part of that video is that in the corner of my eye, I caught a sight of Divine Iguachukwu, and I had to remember that like is a rotation player on my team, which is crazy. But look, I think it's going to be a great test for both teams early. I can't wait for overreactions. There will be overreactions, and when I say that, there'll be overreactions here. By the way, I mean you got to seek them out. Tune in to Sleepers Media for all things college basketball this season. Shout out to Dan Hurley for setting this up, and shout out to Tom Izzo for setting it up as well. Want to see two great teams go at it, and that's what we will see.